Hello everybody, it's Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So today the question is, what action should I be taking? So obviously you can apply this to any area of your life. It could involve a person, a situation and an event. But basically you're sort of confused about what to do next. Maybe all the things that you would usually try are not being very successful. Maybe an original approach needs to be taken, but you're working in the dark really. You just don't know where to start or where to go next. So this reading is here to help you. It's to help nudge you in the right direction. So just take the parts that resonate, adapt what I'm saying to your particular situation, and hopefully you should get some help to point you in the right direction. Give you a clue as to what action you should take. So I've got 4 options set out for you. We've got number 1, the bird, number 2, the stork, number 3, the heart, and number 4, the scythe. So I want you to take a few deep breaths, relax, feel nicely at calm and at peace. Get yourself ready and open for the answer and ask yourself this question: what action should I take? Keep what it is that needs action in your life in your mind as you ask yourself the question, and then make your choice. Trust your instincts, don't doubt yourself, don't overthink it. If you need a bit more time to do that, then please press pause, because I'm now moving on to the readings. Okay, those of you that chose number 1, the bird, this is your reading. What action do you need to take? So what we need to look at first is what not to do. So if this resonates as something that you're doing, the advice is to very seriously consider not doing it. It's not helping you, it's blocking you or slowing down the process. And if it's something that you haven't actually taken action to do but are considering it, again, it's advising you to rethink. So we have here the 10 of Arrows instruction, the pole star, that's the star, and the Ace of Arrows, the breath of life. Okay, so this is just a clear message that they're sort of repeating the same theme, which is, I think this possibly for a lot of you isn't a new situation. Maybe you've been there, done that. This is the second time it's happened in your life, or maybe it's a repeating theme in your life. So you're very familiar with how to solve the problem. But in this situation, this time with this person, it's not going to work. This is like the card of passing on knowledge. This is having an inner knowing. This is sort of the same thing. It's repeating the same message of, you already know what to do, but the messages don't do it. So if you're frustrated because when this has happened before, you did this plan and you took this course of action and it always resolved the problem, but it's not working now. Why is it not working now? It's just not going to work. Well, have a look to see what the other cards say. But the message is, if you're very determined to have it your way, if you're the elder, if you're the mentor, the more mature person, and you're like always in charge and always knowing what to do and very confident with that, there's nothing wrong there. It's not saying that everything you've ever achieved or learned suddenly has no value. But here in this instance, your desire to pass on your knowledge or to make sure that the situation is resolved in the way it or has always been resolved, it's just not going to work. I mean, it suggests fresh action needs to be taken place, a new course of action. Maybe there's a new solution to this problem. It could be that actually the problem isn't exactly the same as it has before, and so therefore the solution isn't going to work. But it's saying basically the same thing. It's almost like you want it your way. You're determined to have it your way. You know, you're completely assured and confident that what you want is the right course of action. But the message is that no, not now, not this time. So you need to rethink exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve when you're having your way. I feel there's a lot of determination to have it your way, because I don't sense any spite or anything out of you. I honestly don't believe that. I think you're just so confident because you've been there, done that. Look, this is how you solve the problem. Do it. If you do it this way, it'll work. And so it almost feels like there's a resistance to this person, this problem, whatever. It's like, no, not going to work. So you have to stop trying to dictate how it plays out, really. Stop trying to have it done your way. So what course of action do you need to take? So we've got strength, the grace and inner strength needed to overcome challenges, the power of kindness and forgiveness. Time to embrace how wonderful you are. Yeah, you are wonderful. I don't get any bad feelings from this. I think you're just like, it's always worked this way. It's just not going to this time. Queen of Autumn, generous, stylish, gracious and practical. Be practical with respect to how you proceed. The ability to make anything more beautiful. Meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. So again, I got this feeling that before you've always solved this on your own, but maybe this time, or at least you've always been in charge of how this has been dealt with. This time you have to reach out to others, or if this is like a relationship, you have to involve the other person in it. It's not something that you can solve on your own. The Magician, you can do anything. Take charge of your life. You can manifest what you need to be a success. So that's sort of a contradictory image, because that's sort of, message that's saying reach out. That's saying you can do it on your own. I think it's more you can manifest what you need to be a success, because we've just got too powerful a message here. All three cards are saying the same thing, but in a slightly different way, which is you're trying to control it too much. I'm not going to go over it. I don't think you're meant to do it. I think you're meant to build up your own inner strength and inner resilience over this. This is the action for you to take, is to grow from this experience, but also to allow you to concede that other people can be right, that they can have the wisdom, that they can actually have something that needs to be passed on versus what you want to pass on. Three of Winter, reach out to others for comfort and love. You will grow stronger from this situation, sadness that will heal with time. Well, there you go. You're not meant to do it on your own, I don't think. You are meant to reach out. So whether this is like a solo project or something that you've gone through, or there's something happened in your life and normally you deal with these things on your own, you don't have to. There are people around you that you can reach out to. And you can still be in charge of your own life and still make things happen. I feel you're a very empowered person with a lot of experience in this field or in life generally. And so all you need to do is take this as another lesson and grow and mature from it. And this is only going to be temporary. So if this feels like the end of the world to you, I sympathise, but trust me, you'll grow and be stronger, and you'll grow wiser and more powerful, and you'll move on from this and look back and think, well, I thought it was the end of the world, but actually it wasn't. So I want to look at what's going to help you to take this action, or help you progress in a more positive way, and incorporate it into this. Because to me, what action you need to take is, first of all, it's saying being practical. So I feel that if this is a practical issue, you need to take practical action. This isn't, take action in a tangible, practical way. Like say you need to get a new job. You need to apply for the jobs, but also work on your powers of manifestation and your skill set in order to achieve the job. So the things aren't going to come out of thin air, but you can really propel these things forward. So let's see what's going to help you. The Hanged Man. Ace of Coins, that's the Ace of Pentacles. And the Three of Wands. Okay, so what's going to help you to take the right action? You're going to be prevented from taking action, I think, is a message. You're going to be slowed down. You're not going to be able to immediately jump in and solve the problem. You're going to be forced to wait, to be honest. And I think it's to force you to go through this strength and the Three of Winter card. I think you need to build up sort of spiritual development. I think you need to build up a resilience in your, like say this has been a blow to your confidence, you need to build up the strength to cope with that. Cope with failure even, or the changing dynamics in a relationship. It's still saying that you can still be around others and it's time to reach out. You can still be wonderful. But you need time to process this so that you are even more wonderful. And so this might be very frustrating to you. In fact, I would say it's guaranteed to be frustrating to an awful lot of you. You feel like quite like go-getters that strike while the iron is hot. You can achieve anything and you work really hard to do that. And you're sort of being like, nope, the situation is not going to let you do anything. I think the actions that you take are being frustrated because of this need to wait. So things might just not be in place for you to take advantage of them yet. What's going to help you? I think I'm drawn back to this, be practical with respect to how you proceed. This is about going back to the core value. So it's like focusing on getting some exercise. So maybe like working out at the gym, or if you can't get to the gym or don't want to, it's about taking long walks and doing the gardening, which is good exercise but also very therapeutic, that you're physically nurturing the ground. And I think through that nurture, you're nurturing yourself. And it can also, because the coins to me is also handcrafts, things that you do with your hands, handmade things where you really have to learn and develop the skill. So it could be that what's going to help you is by learning a new skill, but it's one like pottery or knitting or carpentry, something where you take the item and transform it into something new. It can be your own creation, you know, like your own creativity, or it could be just that you're literally learning the ropes. It really is something that you haven't done before, that you're learning from scratch. It's about going back to the beginning of it because it's an ace. So doing this, and I think getting in touch with the natural side of you, the soulful side of you, is really going to help you. And I think this is coming clear to me why things are slowed down, because you need that time to develop this side of yourself. And this is why. So it's like, let's go back to the job. If you've lost your job, normally you get another job within a month or within a few days, and you can't get a new job. And you're really frustrated. Why isn't it working? Every time I've done this before, it's not working. It could be because there's a great job for you, but it's not going to be released for another month. So like the universe or angels, guides, whatever your thing is like, no, not letting you get any of those jobs, because if you take that job, you will never look for this other job that's going to be really good for you, but that's not being released until a month from now. So you're not going to get any of these other jobs. There's always going to be a candidate that's slightly better, or, you know, the employer has a sudden instinct that it's not going to work, and you will therefore keep looking, and then all of a sudden you'll find the job that's right for you when it comes released in a month or next week. So in the meantime, you're meant to build up this, I think it's a peaceful, calm knowledge of yourself through, as I say, gardening, taking lots of exercise, focusing on your health and your physical capabilities, but also perhaps through learning a craft. Because here, what's going to help you is doing something for the love of it, for the passion of it, for the joy of achieving it, rather than necessarily the financial gain. This is why I get this feeling that if you like really love exercise because you just enjoy exercise, it's like you're not worried about earning money from it. And the same perhaps with learning pottery, is you're thinking, well, yeah, I've got to pay to learn, or it's quite expensive hobby. Something that, you know, like say that you can afford, but it's something that you can learn, that you can actually do for the sheer enjoyment of it, and it gets you off because the triumph of learning a difficult skill, or the triumph of striking out in something new that you're completely ignorant of, but you then come to succeed at it. Because I think you're a very capable person, and I think that's why you're so frustrated, because actually you're very good, very capable, and what you're trying at the moment is just not working. And I think that you're purposefully being suppressed to force you to go through some sort of spiritual development. And I think it is to do with your, not to knock your confidence and your pride in yourself, but I think you're meant to achieve something else and it's just not ready for you yet. So I'm going to leave that reading with you. I hope that it's helped you, those of you that chose the bird. I hope that it makes sense to you. Please let me know in the comments section if it resonates and how it all pans out for you. If you want to contact me for any reason, all the information you need is in the description box. But otherwise, I'm going to leave you with your reading. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose number 2, the Stork, this is your reading. So, let's get me cards in order that I need them. Before we look at what action you need to take in regards to your situation, your relationship, or maybe something's happened, like an event, we need to look at what you shouldn't be doing. So if this resonates as something that you are doing, which I think is most likely, it's a good idea for you to seriously consider stopping it in some way as much as you can. Or if you haven't started taking these steps but recognise you would, or have even been planning to, it's saying, are you sure? Maybe it's a good idea that you don't do these things. So we have the World Tree, clearance and responsibility. I think this speaks to me that normally the World Tree means completion, but here it's about the cycle of life. I think what you're doing is keeping a cycle open that's finished. So something's over, something's done, and you're not letting it go. It might not be a conscious action. It's unconscious because, you're looking here and saying, well, what should I do? You're clinging onto it because it's familiar. And you're like, well, I've got something else to do now, but this is familiar. It's less frightening to you, or it's you're more comfortable with it because you know what to do, what actions to take in that situation. Whereas now, I think a lot of you are recognising that this time is done, but what do I do next? So you're staying in the old energy, you're repeating the same mistakes, or at least staying in a situation that has a modicum of success but not enough for you. And normally clearance, to my perspective, is quite a good card because you clear out the dead wood, you chop down the dead branches, you let the new growth begin. Like, I think you can see this. It's chopped down like dead wood, but there's little new sprouts of growth coming up. So, but this is saying not to do that. What you're doing is cutting out far too much. I feel that you're reducing yourself down to the barest bones, like for survival. And I think it's to do with a responsibility that you've assumed. And this is a responsibility that is yours no longer, if it ever was. Responsibility is good, but bearing responsibility for other people when they're perfectly capable of doing that themselves is not acceptable, especially if it's preventing you from moving forward into something brilliant, a new journey, a new relationship, a new cycle in your life, a new phase in your life. And I think what I'm drawn to is that you're cutting yourself bare down. It's like you're not spending any money on yourself, you're giving it all to the people around you. You're subsidising their lifestyle, or you're not doing anything because all of your hours are spent taking care of them or supporting their needs. So they're not dealing with their life in their own way, on their own shoulders, because you're there to pick up the slack, but it's holding you back. You've got to stop doing it. So that's one thing, that's one action to take, is to stop doing these things, or at least look how you can. Sometimes it takes a while to extricate ourselves from this kind of situation. That's all right. If it does take you a year to do it, it's fine. The important thing is that you perhaps are now on a journey that you are going to remove yourself from an unhealthy situation. So what action do you need to take? We've got, the Sun, plans that work out perfectly, amazing ideas that lead to rewards and and commendations, gratitude for the blessings of life. 8 of Spring, stress that comes from having many things happening at once, successful multitasking, sudden events or changes. 3 of Summer, news worth celebrating, announcements such as weddings, graduations or births, friends you cherish. 6 of Summer, children or childhood, the return of people or romances from your past, remembering events differently in a better or worse light than how they really occurred. So what should you be doing? I think you've got much potential for the future. What I'm drawn to is you've got an idea or something that you're working on that's actually going to do you a lot of good. I think it's going to bring you to the attention of other people. This can be anything that you're doing in your life. It could be a hobby that you actually you don't realise it, but perhaps you're very, very good at it. Or it could be something that you just sort of tinker about with when you've got the time, which you don't have much of. And you actually should be getting that out there. The multitasking bit gets to me is that actually you have so much potential and you have so many ideas and so much to do. It's like, get them out there. You can be really successful at anything that you want to. And you've got to start being positive about yourself. I think you're putting yourself down a bit, I almost feel like there's misplaced guilt over things. Like you feel bad when the other people around you that you feel you have a responsibility for, they complain to you about how hard things are for them. And you feel bad about it because you think it's your responsibility to solve their problems. But you got to let that go because it's not your responsibility, it's theirs. You're your own responsibility. They are their responsibility. And it's almost dragging you down, and it's saying, no, you've got to start feeling good about yourself, feeling positive. You've got so much going for you. I think you're really talented in something. And you're meant to share it with the world and meant to bring other people enjoyment out of it. It could be to do with kids. It could be that maybe if you want to have children in your life, that now is the right time and that's the action to take. Maybe you've been considering having it for quite some time, but you've never thought that you could perhaps devote yourself to that. Well, it's now time to start taking action to make that a reality in your life. Or you don't spend enough time with your friends, I would say. You don't socialise enough, and it's time now to have a bit of time for you where you can go off and have a laugh. I do think that there's something that you're working on, and it's time now to announce it, to release it. Like, say you've written a book and you could send it to the publishers, let them know, go through that process, or you could suddenly decide you're just going to self-publish and then announce it and sort of say, I've published this book and I'm going to spread the word and I want you to spread the word, and let's share this out and feel good about it and feel confident and positive. Because it's these amazing ideas that lead to rewards and commendations. I think these things, you're just so good at it. Let's see what the other cards are, because these cards are what's going to help you to take these actions or to make them a success. And we have the Ace of Swords, the Emperor, the World again, brilliant. What's going to help you is this cycle is finished, and although you're like clinging to it, I think some of you, I think you actually are coming out of it. I think you're beginning to slowly accept that it's over. That could be just because that's the type of person you are, but it's sort of saying it's coming to an end and it's finished, and it's time to have something new come in, and it's wonderful. Because what's going to help you is this new idea. So for some of you, you haven't actually had this new idea yet. And that's fine, because it's coming. It's imminent. where you get a brand new idea, a new way of thinking. It's what does it say? It's got a really good phrase. It's a new intellectual path, I think, or something. That's what the book sort of says, is that it's a new way of you seeing the world, seeing yourself, seeing the situation that you're in. Or literally you do come up with a brand new idea, and that's the idea that you take on in conjunction with the other things going on in your life, and then you move forward. And you start to let go of clearing out things and start to increase things into your life. You begin to spend a bit more time on what interests you. Maybe actually releases a bit of money that you can then start to spend on yourself. Releases up some cash in your monthly income so you can buy some new clothes or something. Or just go out with your friends, have some money to go out and enjoy a good meal with your friends. The Emperor is interesting to me because in this deck, it's obviously about the Emperor, and what's going to help you. It's like that. The Emperor is like law and order, somebody enforcing the rules and understanding that things work well when rules are set in place, respected, but also enforced. But this is Henry VIII, because this is the English Magic Tarot deck, and that's Henry VIII. And he had a court jester. And when Henry VIII was in his later years a complete and utter tyrant, the only person that could really crack a joke at him and at his expense was the jester. And of course the jester did. So this speaks to me is what's going to help you along is your own sense of humour. Whether you're a bit of an amateur comedian, maybe you could do that in some way. Lots of people just try stand-up. Podcasting, comedy podcasting is a big thing at the moment. Doing YouTube videos, little snippets, and on TikTok and all that kind of thing, where people can really share their sense of humour. It could be that there's something around you that you find really funny, or you can share your sense of humour about it, and actually other people will laugh. If not, it's your own sense of humour in dealing with what's going on in your life, that your ability to laugh at yourself, to laugh at the situation, and to release pressure and tension is going to help you. So whether it's something that you actually pursue as a career or as a hobby or an interest, or your own ability to use your own sense of humour within your own life and around the people that you want to share your life with and want in your life. Because I feel that your life's quite heavy at the moment with these responsibilities and this clearance. I really think that you've been in a state of like the Five of Pentacles moment, the state of without, but you're not meant to be like that. You're meant to be very abundant and to be an abundant person, spiritually and emotionally, as well as, financially, and in an earthy sense. I think you come into a phase of understanding, and that's what's going to really end that for you, is that you'll come into a phase where you're at the end of something, you're really exhausted over it, you've allowed it to take too much out of you, I think, and now you're ready to get out of it, but you're clinging to a bit, and it's time for change. And so the action you need to take is to pursue more fun, to pursue the things you want in life, to not limit yourself in any way, and to remain positive that things will work out in your benefit, because I think they will. You're just a bit worn out, I think, by all this responsibility. So you need to shed the responsibility and say, that's not my problem. Doesn't matter if they think it's your problem. It's not. So stop clearing things out. Start attracting abundance to yourself, believe in yourself, and share this miraculous, beautiful thing that you're good at. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be comedy. I've just said that because it's got the jester on the card. It can be anything in your life that you're really good at, or that you're really interested in, and that you would like to share, and it's saying share it. So share it in the comment section along with a message. on how this reading resonated with you. If you want to contact me for any reason, my details are in the description box, but otherwise I'm going to wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those that chose number 3, the heart. This is your reading. So what actions you need to take. Before we look at that, we need to look at the things that you really shouldn't be doing. So these are things that are suggested that you either stop doing if you're doing them, or don't go ahead and do them if you're planning them, or maybe these thoughts haven't even entered your head, but they're saying it's not a good idea to do that. But I get the feeling through the other readings that really the majority of you, this is stuff that you're perhaps actively doing, and it's saying it's not helping the situation. It's blocking things, it's slowing things down for you. So review you doing these things. So we start off with the 8 of Stones, which is skill. 4 of Bows, which is celebration. And Ace of Bows, spark of life. Okay, so I think basically the message is that you're spending too much time having fun and doing things that excite you, basically. You're focusing far too much on one thing. You're focusing, and I think it's on doing the things that make you feel alive, celebrating with family and friends, partying too much, not working hard enough. And this spark of life, it really gets you going. It's having fun. You could be having lots of sex. It could be pursuing the things that give you a flash of hot pleasure, but it doesn't last. It's temporary. It's short-term gains, really, and living for the moment. But it's saying that this is not the action to take. It's now, if you've been doing this, it's time to perhaps consider stopping it. That it's time to move on from this energy, or reduce how much time you spend having all this fun and celebration. At least for the short while. It doesn't mean you have to completely change your character and never go out and have sex again or have lots of fun again. Of course it doesn't. But if you're doing it too much, it's not the action to take. It's stopping whatever you're trying to achieve, and whatever you're trying to overcome or deal with, it's just not helping it all. It's stopping it, it's blocking it, it's ruining it. And for some of you, it could end up destroying your opportunities that you're trying to pursue. Especially because we've got the heart, this feels like it could be a romantic situation. Maybe you're looking for love, but you're just not looking for it in the right places, and not pursuing the relationship that deep down you would really like. You're perhaps stuck in a cycle where you're, as I say, focused on having fun too much. So you meet lots of nice people to have short-term relationships, but when it comes to the boring parts of a relationship, it's not sustainable, it doesn't stick. But you got to stop that. You got to stop the things that bring you short-term happiness. It doesn't have to be, obviously, that kind of lifestyle. It's just something that you do that brings you a lot of happiness. I mean, it could be that you just spend too much time alone because it makes you really happy, and you can move about as much as you like in the things that make you happy without impacting other people, but that's blocking you from your overall aim. So these are the cards that represent the action that you should be taking, that's going to help you to get what it is that you want. Queen of Winter, strong, patient, self-sufficient, funny. Let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career. Unmarried or divorced individuals. So this does feel more like, as I said, the spending too much time with other people, having fun and stuff, than being too much on your own. But obviously, if you do spend too much time on your own, adapt it. Princess of Winter. So that's the Queen and the Page of Swords. Inquisitive, truthful, realistic and undiplomatic. Information that can help you, but which may also be difficult to hear. Speaking the truth with kindness, an indigo child or adult. Prince of Spring. God, you've got all court cards. So this is the Knight of Wands. Charming, self-confident, passionate and restless. Immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage, a passionate relationship. So I think a lot of you are thinking, well, I can't change who I am. I can't stop doing this thing. It's too much fun. It's part of who I am. It's my identity. It's all good, but actually you can meet that challenge. And I think the action you need to take is recognise that the situation you're in, and maybe the friends you hang around with are just not on your wavelength anymore. They're not, you can't do the things you used to do. I think you're growing out of it. I think you're maturing away from it, or at least recognising that it's a bit self-destructive maybe. Or at the very least, it's just not providing you with what it used to. But, you know, the person or the people that you hang around with, they're still in the same energy. They're still doing the same thing or whatever. And you're just ready to move on. And for some of you, it is time now to sort of develop your career a bit more. And you need to start being truthful to yourself. And I think this is sort of saying to you that you're going to have this sort of honesty about what's going on, to see the truth of the situation, and it's going to hurt. To look and see what you've been doing and realising that it's not what you wanted to do for as long, or what you wanted to do at all for some of you. It's going to hurt, and you're going to have to accept some painful truths before you can move on, or accept that maybe you can't keep the status quo going, that you can't keep things going the way they have been. You've got to let go of some things, and that hurts to let go of these things, but you must do it. And it's also saying to you that the action you can take, although it's challenging, you can meet it successfully. You don't have to be frightened. You have the confidence. You are clearly a passionate person, even though you're going to have to develop that passion into something more or something new. It's saying the action to take is to feel confident with facing the truth and changing things and letting go of the things that are holding you back. So I think the only thing that's stopping you from moving on is you. That you have too much fun doing this, even as much as it's time to move on away from it. And this doesn't offer any fun. It offers maturity and spiritual development. And you perhaps feel you're not quite ready, but the cards are saying you are ready. You can do it. So what's going to help you along on this journey? What's going to help you to take this action? Four of Cups. Queen of Coins. Knight of Coins. Okay, so this is quite clear. You're going to find out the truth. This makes sense. You're going to come across some piece of truth. You're going to find out something. It doesn't have to be that you discover you've been lied to. It could be a truth you discover about yourself. It could be being honest with yourself, discovering that you've been denying something. And then once you sort of like, I knew this all along, but I didn't want to face it. That's what's going to help you to let go of the things that no longer serve you, that are holding you back. It's this truth. Some of you, you might find out something about this relationship situation. It's no good for you, because you're going to reevaluate what's the situation is, whether it's like the relationship between the master and the servant. It's about he's serving her, but what's the dynamic of the relationship? And I think what you're going to do is see the dynamics of how you live your life, or how you communicate with this person, or how the situation is, that makes you reevaluate your position in that dynamic. So it's like finding out, does this lifestyle, does this, whatever this represents for you, does this serve you, or do you serve it? And when you have that sort of epiphany, I think, or that extra piece of information that sort of is the final puzzle piece for you, in the jigsaw, you're just sort of going to be like, oh my God, of course. And I think it's all linked into a period of stasis for you, because this Knight of Coins, he's stuck on that horse. He's not really riding it. There's nowhere for him to go. He's surrounded by books. He's got to research and investigate. He can't really take any action. It's very slow moving. It's the Knight of Pentacles. And I think you're going to be forced to learn something new, to literally read a book on something, and it sort of like makes you see a situation in a brand new light. And it sort of gives you a piece of education where you're like, oh God, I understand now. Or at least I never thought of how I was doing this in that way before, but it does make sense to me. And it's going to lead you to leading a much healthier lifestyle. The truth will set you free. And absolutely, the tarot reading is telling you that the truth is going to set you free. And it's really going to, this is so valuable, this is so wonderful that you're going to look, and with this piece of new knowledge, this new education, this new discovery, you're going to look and think, am I serving this or is it serving me? And you're going to be able then to take action to move away from, get rid of out of your life the toxic things, the unhealthy things, the things that are just making life difficult for you, I think. And you're going to successfully manage all the challenges that it brings. So that's your reading. I hope that it helped. Please let me know in the comments section if it resonated. I love reading everybody's comments. And I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. And thank you for listening to me. Goodbye. Okie dokie, so number 4's last but not least, this is your reading. What action do you need to take? So first of all, what we need to look at is the actions that you shouldn't be taking. So if you're doing these things, considering doing these things, they're just not going to help. It's perhaps a good idea to think about doing something else. Obviously, we'll look at those cards as well. But yeah, review these things and maybe just actively not do them. So we start off with the Queen of Vessels, which is salmon. 10, the Wheel of Fortune. And the Four of Vessels, which is boredom. Okay, so what it's saying to me that what you're doing, what action you're taking, but is perhaps not the most conductive one, is you're constantly changing and flitting. I think that you get bored quickly, you change things up very quickly, and you're constantly pushing and moving and travelling forward. It doesn't have to mean physical travel. It just means that you're constantly on the move. I don't think you stay in one situation for a very long time. I think you change jobs quite frequently. You might literally move towns quite frequently, or change in your relationships because you get bored, or maybe you exhaust what you can exhaust from there, so you move on. I think you're just constantly on the go, constantly new ideas, new interests. Constantly moving forward without looking back, I think. And I think it is all in the pursuit of avoiding boredom. And this is what you need to perhaps stop doing. Because it's, I think you're probably in a confusion about what to do because you've constantly moved so much that maybe you haven't got that many more places to go. Maybe you've jumped about too much and sort of not laid down any roots or stability to catch you at the points in your life when you do need stability. Yeah, I think it's you're just moving too much. And I feel it's like it could be spiritually, intellectually, that you're jumping from one idea to the other because you're constantly coming up with new ideas all the time, and new ideas are exciting and fascinating, and you're always at the beginning of something. There's always the exciting beginning bit of an adventure rather than the sad bit when it all finishes. So what action do you need to take? So we've got the Seven of Autumn, have patience and don't worry. Take time to rest and plan your next steps, a prudent investment of time or money. So a lot of you move without thinking perhaps. You just immediately jump. You're like, problem here, boom, move off. Ace of Winter, don't be deterred by challenges along the way. It's important to communicate clearly and accurately. Amazing new ideas that should be implemented. So actually you have new ideas to follow. Maybe you lack confidence in yourself, but the message is take these actions. You've got good ideas. 5 of Spring. Opposing goals arising from differing opinions. Feeling at odds with yourself or others. Overly ambitious people. So what action you need to take is that even though you might feel that this is something that's out of character for you, or other people say this is out of character for you, you're still meant to go ahead and take this action. So if you've always been on the move, if you only stay 2 years in any one place, but you're like, I think I want to settle down and get this mortgage and buy this place and live in this town and start a family. And everybody's like, that's not you. You'll be bored within minutes. It's saying no, it's now time to start cultivating patience in yourself and to stop feeling that whatever worries you about being patient and being in one area or in one job for a long time or whatever it is for you, you got to address those things, take time to address them and have this stability. And also I think that you're a fly by the seat of your pants person, you know. And it's saying now that now is a time of your life where you actually start to think about what you're going to do next and start to think where you're going to be this time next year. Where would you like to be? You know, it doesn't have to be like going mad and having a 5 to 10 year plan. But it's starting to think, well, maybe I'll stay here, as I say, have that sort of stability and investing in something. So it's like if you change jobs all the time, it's maybe getting qualifications in a job that you'll probably stay in as a career for a decade or something. But it's saying that absolutely there's something new and you might find it intimidating or that, you know, like this feeling of being deterred from doing it by yourself or others. But it's saying no, stick with it. Even though the path will be difficult for you, that challenging for you, and you might feel at points you don't have the support that you would hope. The message is to stick at something or this new thing, and that's the action to take, is to stick at it and to meet the challenges and triumph over them. So what's going to be happening? Oh, you've got 4 cards here. What's going to be happening in your life that is going to aid you in this new action to take? Knight of Cups, 8 of Cups, 5 of Swords, King of Coins. Okay, so what's going to help you on this? I think you're going to be in a situation that's going to bring out lots of intense, at times quite negative emotions. It's almost like making you explode with fury or passion or something. It's like frustration even, where I think you want to succeed at it, but you lack the necessary skills. You know, maybe because you've always pursued not being bored, like short-term interests. And so therefore you lack. You know, you think, oh no, but I've got the right equipment, why can't I do it? And you've got to sit there and learn the craft, and that's how you do it. You can have all the right equipment, but if you don't sit there and learn how to do it or go, you know, learn from other people and apply yourself diligently, you're just not going to achieve anything. Like on the horse, he doesn't know how to ride the horse. He's been given the horse, he's been given the wonderful armour, but he doesn't know how to ride it. So if he goes too fast, he's just going to come off it and split his head open. So I think there's this recognition here that there's something that you want and you can't achieve it because you've never done it before or never done it to any great level before. And I think that frustration is going to help you, I think, to have this patience and to start planning and stop going. I always want to say instinctively. I think instincts are brilliant, they're essential, but you must back it up with practical knowledge. And I think this is what's going to inspire you to get this practical knowledge and this stability. Because I think there's a situation or something going on that's distasteful. It's not outright dangerous, but it's not a good situation for you to be in. And I think that's probably why you're quite frustrated. You're like in a perilous position where you're around people or in a situation you don't want to be in. You don't like it. You may not even feel safe. And you're sort of, it's an established way of living for you. And you're like, I don't want to do it anymore. And that's going to be the motivator for you to take this new action and to change things and to support that. Because I think there's a recognition that you can't go back, that you're just not going to win out if you stay where you are. This is sort of like, it's not an epiphany, it's a recognition of the way things are and that you don't want it to stay that way anymore. You want out. And that is going to support you taking these challenging steps. It's going to keep the energy alive in you and the determination alive to change things and to improve things. And it's the knowledge that you're building up that's going to support that. You're going to be focusing on building this King of Pentacles situation where you've got stability, you're able to provide for yourself or provide for the people around you. It's about having a good place to live, enough food to eat, to heat your home, and to have money to put aside. It's being completely abundant from a practical viewpoint of being really sensible and stable and knowing how to continue that in life. So it's really learning those skills. So it could be getting a qualification because you know where you've been is no good. You need that qualification to stabilise your life, to stabilise your income in your life, your ability to pay your bills, feed yourself, feed your kids, get a roof over your head, or even to just achieve that lifestyle you always wanted with an expensive car and a fabulous house, if that's what you desire. And that incentive is going to keep you moving forward no matter how much you want to give up, no matter how much you want to go back into your old energy of just picking up and moving on. You're going to stick with it and meet every challenge no matter how much. And I think there are going to be people around you that are like, they won't stick to this, they can't stick at it, they'll give in. But you're going to show them that no, you're going to stick with it. And that's the action to take, to stick with it. So let me know in the comments section if that resonated with you, what this is all about. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you for listening to me, and goodbye.